There is a legend in several native tribes about beings called thunderbirds, mythical lords of wind and lightning who could shapeshift into human form. My story follows the adventure of a young woman who discovers that one of the young men in her tribe may not be who she thinks he is, that he may be in fact one of the legendary thunderbirds. Who was the first? Sian's youthful voice came from the darkness. The elders could not have looked more surprised if the campfire had spoken, or the elder stars themselves had come down to reprove them. Sian! Her mother was mortified, and since her mother was an elder and the village shaman, this didn't bode well for Sian's happiness in the next few moments. This is elder council. Children have no place speaking here, or even being here. A child, always a child. I'm past my 15th summer, Sian mumbled under her breath. In a cycle, maybe 2, I'll be old enough to choose a mate or walk away from the village and become Kitna elsewhere and earn my own place. Please, elder, I mean no disrespect, she said. You know that I am studying our history and tradition, and this, she gestured broadly from Iamat, whose face seemed carved of granite, to Yakita, a tall ramrod of a youth staring at the fire, eyes blazing with hurt and humiliation, has raised a question. Iamat peered through the smoke at Sian and then looked at her mother with a raised eyebrow. You already teach her the ways of the grey feather? Matra's gentle smile didn't hide the sadness in her brown eyes. My mother left us last cycle, and Sian is the last in our line. She will become Salixed when I walk the Sky Road. It is none too soon for her to start learning our history. And you always taught us, Devan interjected slyly, with a merry wink at where Sian stood in the shadows, that the first part of learning is to ask questions, whether appropriate or not. Matra laughed merrily. I am caught by my own words, it seems. What was your question, Sian? Seeing that the conversation had turned in her favour, Sian ventured further into the dying firelight, her dark eyes wide and sleepy, and her once tidy tunic a mess of berry stain and ash. I wanted to know who the first Kitna was. Someone had to start the tradition, to walk from their own village into a village who, like us, had no reason to trust a stranger. She gave Iamat a pointed look, then stared at the floor with an obviously feigned air of meekness. Very well, Matra said. On behalf of the Grey, we welcome you to our village, Yakita, to learn, to teach, and to share in all the roads we walk. She gave a nod to Iamat, who was standing still and watchful between Yakita and the children. I respect my mother's decision, and when she decides that you are permitted the green, she will tell me. Until then, the areas of the green feather are forbidden you. You will learn from the red and the grey, and prove that your heart is one with the people. Yakita nodded at the shaman, then almost, but not quite, bowed towards where Sian stood in the guttering light. My thanks, hatchling. Sian stomped her foot in anger, all pretext of wisdom and maturity instantly disappearing. Throwing a sharp-edged glare at the ungrateful slug, she stormed away from the campfire and into the privacy of their lodge. The arrogant, insolent, jumped-up Kitna, she raged to herself. He was no more than 2 cycles older than her, and he called her a hatchling? And after she had defended him to the elders, risked a severe reprimand from her mother on his behalf. Lightning scorch him. The shaman gestured at Yakita. Go with Devan. He will find a place among the red feathers where you can sleep. Tomorrow we will see where your heart lies, and what lessons you can learn, and what lessons we can.